Good afternoon, everyone. Sadly, I want to report we have one deceased, and we're at Van Fleet and MLK. Van Fleet, I meant to say, in MLK. We have one deceased female on the scene. We have two other citizens that were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We have two suspects that were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening. Again, I want to go over that because that's most important. And to the family of this deceased lady, we ask that the entire city pray for her and pray for her family. Let me back up and go over what led up to this. So approximately 8 p.m. last night, what we believe the two suspects who were driving this vehicle, which is a stolen vehicle, robbed the complainant for her vehicle in the 8400 block of Monroe, again at 8 p.m. last night. That complainant had some type of tracking system working with the dealership. So sometime this morning she contacted HPD, and she said that the vehicle was in the 7800 block of Jutland. Officers responded to that area. Officers at about 10, or a little bit after 10 a.m., spotted the vehicle at Jutland at West Belford. Jutland at Belford. They initiated a pursuit. They quickly lost sight of the vehicle because of his speed. They got on the radio and they informed the dispatcher that they had lost sight of the vehicle. The vehicle went through the area and then ended up right here northbound on MLK, right at Van Fleet, at the intersection. The complainant, who's deceased, two other vehicles were stopped at the red light, headed northbound. The suspect disregarded safety for anybody, plowed into those vehicles. Again, we have, sadly, one individual that's deceased. I looked at briefly a little bit of video from the businesses, and it's preliminary, and I want to state that. Things do change. But what I'm seeing right now and what the officers are reporting to me, they wasn't actively pursuing this vehicle. These suspects, in both of them, no regard for anybody, crashed into this lady. And it's very sad. It's sad for everybody. And I want to say this before I go in and say a few other things, because we had a lot of talk about pursuits and the HPD policy. And everybody know I'm looking at that policy. And I will make some adjustments. But what I know from this scene right now today, it's not a policy issue. And everybody in the criminal justice system is going to have to take an active role to do their part, getting suspects in jail who need to be in jail, but also from a legislative standpoint, making sure that we understand the seriousness of people fleeing from the police. And again, sometime at the beginning of next week, I will be addressing our policy, our pursuit, but right now I want everybody to focus in on this innocent lady sitting at a light just like any of our family members could have been doing. And you got two suspects that carjacked somebody last night. No regard for anybody. Nobody's even following them from a police standpoint. You got two officers at the light right here just standing waiting, and they observed it. So that's where I'm at right now. As we do more investigations, we gather more information. But right now, this does not look like a pursuit or an incident where we were pursuing somebody and they crashed into somebody. This is squarely on the suspects of what I know right now. And again, I want everybody, our citizens, everybody to pray for this family. Vehicle Crimes Division, the Reconstruction Unit is conducting the investigation. Also, when somebody dies, we'll have administrative ID coming out doing the investigation as well. But again, it's a sad day for this family, and we want to pray for their family. We'll open up for questions.
How old were they?
I'm not teens, early 20s on both of us. You're talking about the suspects, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, both of them. And we'll get more information out as we file charges, because I do expect, and I didn't say that, thanks for asking about the suspects. I do expect, and we're contacting with the DA's office, and right now, I do expect them to accept murder charges, because this is what it is. Two suspects right now that I know of. Go ahead.
We heard from bystanders that there were, maybe being held at gunpoint at the initial stages. So can you kind of talk about taking them into custody? What happened? Did they try to flee after the?
I don't know. This scene is very fluent. I just pulled up a few minutes ago, and I wanted to get in front of the cameras and address the media, and also asking for prayers, more important, to the family. So I don't have all that information, but if there's a crash like this, and we did have information. I understand that the suspect were armed, and I did have one of my supervisors tell me that one of the officers that was getting the suspects out the vehicle recovered a gun on one of the suspects. So if they were held at gunpoint getting them, it's probably so. Okay.
So Chief, it wasn't a chase, but did they run the light? How did they?
I think based on the video that I saw, and I know some of the media saw it, it appears to me, and again, I want to have time. You can't just get a full understanding on everything that happened until you fully evaluate all the video. That hadn't happened. But what I see right now is that victim, that innocent poor lady, sitting at the light, waiting for the red light with the other vehicles, and this suspect come blowing up at a high rate, crazy speed, ran into him and killed that lady. So that's what I know right now.
Just so I understand the logistics, you said that there were 2 cop cars already sitting at this intersection.
One unit. I think 2 officers was in there, but again, I want to verify that. But I know we had an officer at the intersection.
Because they were aware of the chase, or just happenstance?
It's aware of the suspect, because we discontinued the chase. We were actively looking for the suspect, so want to be clear on that, and the investigation is going to determine that. But clearly, from the video, doesn't look like our officers were red lights and sirens chasing the suspect at the moment that they had the accident. It was a pursuit initially that the officer rightfully, and we do this a lot, when you lose sight or it's getting too dangerous, he terminated the pursuit. So, anything else?
Chief, when you see when you just walk up and you see the damage on that car, what goes through your mind?
It's senseless. It's senseless. But also what goes to my mind, what are we doing as a society about all of this senseless crime? All of us. I'm not one who point fingers, okay? I don't. I'm a solution-based chief, and I think everybody should be solution-based. But all our lawmakers around the nation, because not only Houston is having a problem with this, all major cities around the nation. What are we doing? What is the punishment for individuals that take, if you came out and you shot a gun, and I'm not angry at you, but I'm very emotional. If you shot a gun and you fired it into a crowd, what would the punishment be? We need the same damn punishment when people are fleeing in vehicles, because it makes no sense. You're talking about thousands of pounds of steel, and we got to look at that very objectively and critically. At the same time, police departments and chiefs, I got to look at policies and procedures. I get it. Anything we can do to make people safely. But this incident today, what I know right now, doesn't appear to be a policy issue. It's 2 suspects with no regard for nobody's safety. And we got to work together. We got to find a solution. But I'm calling out for lawmakers around the nation. Let's increase that penalty for individuals that's fleeing in vehicles. It's dangerous. Thank you. Anything else? Thank y'all.